organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Tonight on Daily Iowan TV, caucus reactions. Find out what volunteers inside the precinct have to say about the outcome.
The masses and the monkey. Find out why some are searching for better luck this Chinese New Year.
Esports is one of the fastest growing sports in the country. Find out more in sports.
All of that and more coming up.
Daily Iowan TV starts right now. Good evening and happy Groundhog Day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeremy Meyer.
And I'm Alana Neal.
As we told you this morning, the Iowa caucus yesterday was full of unexpected surprises, including one of the closest caucuses in Iowa Democratic history. But not all of the votes were accounted for. Votes from precinct number 42 in Des Moines went missing this morning. Democrats scrambled to find officials last night to report the result of Bernie Sanders winning by 2 delegates. But there wasn't anyone to take their calls. Earlier today, officials worked to figure out the final result for the precinct. Sanders ended up winning the precinct, but it didn't tip the final result into his favor. All of the presidential candidates are now headed over to New Hampshire for the first primary.
With the Iowa caucus comes a lot of hard work, and in Iowa City, students all over the campus stepped out into the cold to participate. Katie Sextro and Zhao Li give us a look at why it is so important for students to show their support.
Students at the University of Iowa came out in full force to caucus Monday night in Iowa City. The Illinois room at the IMU was filled with students supporting various Republican candidates. Several of those students also expressed why they chose to come vote.
It's really nice to see that a lot of people who are a lot younger than I am choosing to come out and make important decisions for who could become our next president. So I think that's a really great thing to see, especially on a large campus like this.
I feel that the college vote really does matter, and I wanted to make that difference.
Another big crowd of students gathered in the Iowa City Rec Center to voice their opinions and help support their favorite Democratic candidates.
I feel that it's my duty as a citizen to represent my opinions, and I wanted to do so tonight, so I came out to voice up.
We think it's very important to be involved, especially as a student, because a lot of college kids aren't as involved as they should be.
But the students definitely were tonight. Reporting from Iowa City, Katie Sextro and Zhao Li, Daily Iowan TV.
Included in the hundreds of UI students who came out to cast their votes Monday night are campaign volunteers, and we got a chance to catch up with a representative from each party after their experience at the caucus. The chair of College of Republicans touched on some positives and negatives of the results.
I'm a Senator Rubio supporter, so I was hoping he was going to grab that second place at first, but that's all right. I think he showed, I think he's actually exceeded expectations, and that's what all the caucuses are about. Donald Trump did not meet expectations, and I thought Senator Cruz definitely met expectations.
On the other end of the table, University Democrats have a new plan to push their agenda of getting a Democrat in the White House.
We're planning to move forward with the message of unity, and our big goal is basically to prevent a Republican who would take back the progress.
Looking into the future, the group now wants to promote unity between the Clinton and Sanders political campaigns.
And even though there has been a lot of divide between Bernie and Hillary and whatnot, we really want to unite the progressive base and make sure students are educated and involved and still moving forward with the big picture goal.
This morning on our special caucus follow-up show, we had the opportunity to sit down with a political science professor at the University of Iowa about the future of the presidential candidates after the Iowa caucus. With the close race between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, the UI professor comments on what their near futures have in store.
Now, Professor, so can you tell me a little bit about, to clear things up for some of our viewers, what this means for Hillary and Bernie going into upcoming elections? What does this mean with delegate-wise? Because some people view that it is winner-take-all, and that's not the case, right?
No, Iowa is not winner-take-all. Iowa is a proportional system with a 15% viability threshold. So if you don't get 15% in a particular precinct, you get 0 delegates. But then whoever's left gets a proportion, and you round up depending. Now, what was interesting is it appears that in at least 3 precinct meetings, the contest was so close that they had to flip a coin to decide who got the last delegate. And if I understand correctly, Hillary Clinton won all 3 coin tosses. So she has about a 4 or 5 delegate lead. In part, that's due to having won 3 coin tosses. So it's a very close race. What's most important for Hillary Clinton is that she didn't lose. She doesn't want to rehearse the 2008 results. And for Bernie Sanders, he held his own, and he's going home to his home area. He'll do very well in New Hampshire, and then we'll see where that takes us.
Now, if you would like to watch that full interview and find out more about what the Professor Covington has to say about both the Republican and Democratic candidates, check out Daily Iowan TV on YouTube. The presidential candidates have sure brought the heat to their campaigns, but temperature-wise, I don't think Iowa will be feeling too much heat anytime soon. What are you thinking, Jeremy?
I totally agree with you, Alana. For a while, it was looking like we'd be seeing some snow in Iowa City, but the rain washed those dreams away. Now let's hand it over to Becca Scadden in the weather studio to give us an update on what we can expect moving forward. Becca?
Oddly enough, exactly 5 years ago today, students had the luxury of a snow day. But it looks like this blizzard was only enough to make for some pretty icy and slushy sidewalks on campus. And sadly, this weather isn't out of the forecast just yet. We see a chance of more snow starting tonight and moving into tomorrow morning, with temperatures hanging around the low 30s. As the afternoon moves in, the snow stops and we drop to 26 degrees with cloudy skies. Wednesday night, temperatures will continue to drop down into the teens. Taking a look at the rest of our week, temperatures will hang around the mid-30s for most of the day on Thursday, giving way to the low 20s come Thursday night. As for Friday, we're looking at temperatures falling to below freezing temperatures and partly cloudy skies. But we do have some good news. As Saturday and Sunday roll around, we have the potential to jump into the 40s with cloudy skies. However, this change won't last long, as we see a 40% chance of more snow with a high of 26 for next Monday. That's all I have for you in the weather studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
Freezing weather and snow in China yesterday left more than 100,000 passengers stuck at the Guangzhou train station. This left 23 trains delayed and people trapped in and around the station. This rush of traveling is because of the Chinese New Year beginning on Monday. Authorities called in more than 2,000 security guards to watch over the mass of people and prevent any stampedes or riots.
The United States announced its first case of sexually transmitted Zika virus. The case is in Texas, but authorities believe a traveler from Venezuela brought the virus to the States. Now across the pond, the United Nations Children's Fund is asking for $9 million for its American programs to help stop the spread of the Zika virus. Earlier today, the UN released a statement saying the programs would help educate Brazilian communities on how to avoid getting the dangerous mosquito bites.
And Thursday night football is about to get bigger. Yesterday, the National Football League signed 2-year deals with CBS and NBC, which allowed each network to broadcast 5 Thursday night games each. And those will go for $45 million apiece. Also, the NFL Network will have the right to broadcast 8 Thursday and Saturday games late in the season. Now, like I said, I have to admit I don't know much about sports, but I do have a secret. I've always been fascinated with the game of tennis.
Well, the tennis team is in the news, the basketball team as well. They've got a pretty important contest tomorrow night. For more on the world of sports, let's toss it over to Colin Murphy, standing by in the sports studio.
We have women's tennis and esports coming up, but we start the show tonight talking about Iowa basketball. In November, we saw an 11-0 Hawkeye football team on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. Fast forward 2 months later, and now Iowa men's basketball has a spotlight, as they were featured on February 2nd as the biggest surprise in college sports right now.
I think it's great for the program. I think Hawkeyes athletics is having a lot of success, and I'm thrilled about it.
I think it's a reflection of what they've accomplished. I think you always want that to be the case for your guys. When you see them working as hard as our guys work, you want to see them recognized.
I'm happy that our team is able to have the success it has and, have the national recognition we have. I think maybe it's all the passes I gave them, they decided to put me on.
As much as this spot on one of the most well-known sports magazines is appreciated, this Iowa team still has the second half of their Big Ten schedule to compete in, starting with Penn State on a Wednesday night here in Iowa City. Our basketball reporters will have all the updates on that game Thursday. It was a start to a clean slate for one Iowa athletic team over the past weekend, as there is no doubt these Hawkeyes are proud of the performance. Jordan Maloney was at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Center for a perfect season opener and has more.
The Iowa women's tennis team opened up their 2016 spring season on Saturday, January 30th, with a doubleheader in Iowa City. The Lady Hawkeyes swept the competition, and one player showed she would be a true competitor this year. While Saturday's matches did not start out ideal for Anastasia Remchin, the Hawkeye ended up on top for the day. Taking Iowa's only loss against Missouri State, Remchin added a win in the singles category in their second match.
Really played some great tennis today. Her serve was fantastic, and she had a good day out there and competed well. She always does a great job for us, and I'm really proud of her.
As Saturday was the dawn of the spring season, Remchin was slotted in the first single spot, and leading the team is nothing new for this sophomore. In 2015, she competed at the top of the singles play for Iowa as a true freshman and finished the spring with a 6-14 record. Anastasia Remchin and the rest of the Iowa women's tennis team will remain in Iowa City in the upcoming months as their season gets started. Iowa will move on with the momentum from sweeping Missouri State and prepare for Eastern Michigan on February 5th at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Center. I'm Jordan Maloney with Daily Iowan TV Sports.
After finishing their 2015 campaign with an 8-13 record, there is no doubt the tennis team is looking forward to the future. A lot of college students play video games, but how many of us play video games competitively? Our own Alex Giannakopoulos tested his ability recently in a competitive Super Smash Bros. Tournament here in Iowa City.
While it may not look like much, I am currently standing outside the host site of one of the most upcoming and controversial sports today. It's esports, or competitive video gaming, and I was lucky enough to go inside and see what it's like to play a game on the competitive level, and to do so in such a close location to the Iowa City campus. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a video game that is almost 15 years old, but the age of the game doesn't stop 30-plus people from packing in apartments every other week near campus to play it. A longtime member of the scene, Pat Took, commented on the game's popularity.
It's like a game that a lot of people know from their childhood, and like a lot of recognizable characters, and so it started off as like a party game that a lot of people like know of and probably have played. It's actually incredibly technical, which I don't think a lot of people expected, but now it's considered one of the most technical fighting games that exists.
One of the things you're bound to hear by coming down to any of these events are the sound of a GameCube controller's buttons clicking. It's been documented that a professional Smash player can hit a button on the GameCube controller 5, 6, 7, or 8 times in a second. Local Smashers say that the only way to get better is to come to their events and play.
Even if they're like, I'm bad, it's like just enter anyway or else you're never going to get the same type of experience.
Whether you're an aspiring pro player or someone who just loves the game, Pat and the gang encourage you to find them on Facebook at Iowa Smash and get involved as soon as you can. For the DITV studio, this is Alex Giannakopoulos reporting from Johnson Street.
As Alex said, esports is up and coming on the sports scene. Over $50 million is given out to the winners of esports competitions every year. Tomorrow is the big day for many high schoolers across the country, as many will sign their Division I football letters of intent. We will have reporters on the scene as head coach Kirk Ferentz will address the media tomorrow afternoon. Jeremy Lana, back to you.
Well, there may be slush on the ground in Iowa City right now, but it looks like we'll be seeing an early spring. That's all thanks to this little guy, Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right. This Groundhog's Day, Phil did not find his own shadow. So according to the legend, this means we won't be enduring cold temperatures too much any longer. Well, that's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news between now and Wednesday. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Jeremy Meyer.
And I'm Alana Neal. Have a great night, Iowa City.